To no one's surprise, Todd Howard and Bethesda have messed up once again.
Today's story is going to be fascinating because Todd Howard has responded. Here's a quote from him. "We definitely see the feedback, right? And that's not what we want at all." So that is what Todd said whenever he was asked about the paid quest drama. That's a good thing. They do actually admit that they got their thinking wrong. What is more interesting?
That's not a good thing. We have seen gaming companies do this time and time again. Disney, movie, all of these big companies, they always do this. They do something that they know no one will like, and then they say, oh, we're sorry, we're not gonna do this again. They're lying. They're flat out lying to your face. Todd Howard does not care about the fact that you don't like that a single mission that takes 20 minutes probably is now paywalled behind $10. He doesn't care. If you believe that they actually are taking a step back and look inwards to what they're doing wrong, you have not been paying attention to the last 20 years.
Interesting though is he talks about the situation 6 months after launch. We now have got an idea of how successful Starfield has been for Bethesda. We have
Not at all. We knew this from the day one launch. After a month, we had concrete evidence. Starfield is absolutely not successful in the slightest. It's a disaster, in fact.
Got numbers for things. We can actually start to do some napkin math, and we can talk about the future of Bethesda. And if you want to help us keep the lights on until the next Elder Scrolls game comes out, here's today's sponsor. Okay, psych, it's not actually a sponsor, but I do have negative, and if you take a look at the graph, you can see that it is very chunkily red for recent reviews. That's obviously not
the only reason Starfield actually had positive reviews at the start on Steam is because every super Bethesda fan instantaneously is gonna buy the game on Steam because that's where the PC is, and on PC there's modding. And while the super Bethesda fan base is relatively large, they are enough to definitely sway the rating to positive. Again, the moment the game launched, it had multiple thousands of, oh my god, this is amazing reviews.
Not great for Bethesda. So it's a good thing that Todd went onto a pretty large platform and talked about how they got it wrong. So this was an interview with Todd done by Mr. Matty Plays over on YouTube. It's an hour-long interview. There's a lot of great gems in there. I would totally recommend, if you're interested in diving deeper into this story, that you check out the video. Because yeah, we'll be talking about a lot of details and
I'll sum it up for you. Todd Howard answers not a single question with a solid yes or no, almost. And not a single hard question has been asked. There you go. I saved you an hour.
Numbers, stuff like that. It is also another thing, just watching Todd speak, seeing how he constructs his sentences, seeing his, body language and all those other bits of communication. Now, I'm going to start with one of the later...
Todd Howard is a lying legend, though. We sometimes analyze body languages of, people when they're talking about things, and it's very interesting to see it. But when it comes to Todd Howard, the guy's almost a complete god at that, honestly, because there's almost no hesitation. He will have normal body language. He's not gonna have a tick where he starts blinking a lot or biting his lip or anything like that. His body language is completely solid, normal at all times, almost. The only thing Todd has is slight hesitation before his body does something when the question asked is, well, that's a bad one, and if I answer truly, it's gonna look bad. That's the only thing Todd Howard has. He is truly the snake oils merchant of a generation.
Parts of the interview, which is Todd's response to the $7 quest. Todd basically said that the quest was an example of them expanding what was offered in the Creation Club. And basically what I talked about in the initial coverage of this that we did is that Bethesda has actually had go to a location, kill some dudes, get some Creation Club gear. They've had that as a sort of pseudo quest in, as an example, Fallout 4. This time though, they actually took it a step further.
That's just something that to get you into the Creation Club, because it's paid. They want you there, so everything around these games is gonna center around trying to somehow get you into the Creation Club menu.
Further, but they kind of misjudged what that step actually represented to the audience. For fairness, here's what Todd said. Quote, "We kind of wanted to put them," referring to outfits and weapons, together, and then we thought, let's go the extra mile and wrap those around a quest. But
for money.
We definitely see the feedback, right? And it's not like we want all that in terms of, oh, this looks like a fraction that we're chopping off and selling for 700 credits at a time. And so I do think we're going to take a look at that and see how we deliver content.
You see, this is an obvious lie, because how the hell do you make this choice to do the exact thing that you say you don't want to do? Interesting. We commonly call this a lie.
Like that, and whether we're charging, pricing, or breaking it up, or what we should do there. So great feedback from the community. Okay, like a little bit awkward wording, but again, that's me reading a transcript of a guy talking off the cuff. So effectively what they wanted to do was make it feel more valuable by...
By the way, I do not believe that Matty actually asked more than like 5 questions that were not pre-scripted to him. There is no way he got that interview without, Bethesda curating the questions and adding questions that they want him to ask. There is no shot.
Having a quest. The thing is, though, that then changes it from a premium cosmetic, which is something that people are used to paying for, into a quest. And then if people look at a quest and see that it's $7, they think, oh my god, imagine if every quest was priced at $7. How many thousands would Starfield cost then? Which kind of breaks people's perceptions of value. Now, Todd did not say whether they'll be breaking up the pack anytime soon. The implication, though, I think, is that this experiment would
The answer to that is an obvious not
be repeated, and they'll do things a little bit different next time. Todd then went on to explain a bit about how they see creation. So he says that for them, while they do put out paid creations on occasion, ultimately they view creations as a way for them to give back to the community and to support the creators if they can, and to basically...
For money, yeah. Giving back to the player base, to the creators, to the everything, by making you pay for it. What a nice guy. Man, that's so heartwarming.
Support the Creation Club system for as long as possible. So that's what Todd said. Obviously, there's the entire other angle of they sell stuff on it.
Wait, was that horse armor just now? Horse armor.
Of they sell stuff on it. Like, even if it's a creator thing, yes, there is a rev share, but basically
$1.50 for a beekeeper outfit on a crab, boys. This is your future. I hope you're happy, Bethesda fans.
Basically, it's ongoing revenue for their games. And as we'll be able to hop into, it's quite a lot of revenue. So let's do numbers. Based on outside sources, we can see that audiences do actually turn up for this content. The offending $7 mission that caused this whole drama has 560,000 plays on PC and 925,000 plays on Xbox. That really is fascinating because, yes.
Wait. Was there an Xbox mod here? Xbox PC. Oh. What the hell does plays mean? There's no way 1.4 million people actually just downloaded this and played it. That's it, I'm checking. Starfield Steam charts. Let's go. Let's see. Let's take a month. And yeah, absolutely no way in living hell that was a reality, because Starfield is, still averaging, 5 to almost 10k players per whatever. Okay, so yeah, that's absolutely not how this should work.
Plays on Xbox. That really is fascinating because, yes, Xbox absolutely is way more, I suppose, doomer. They are the one who are very much losing the console race right now, even though they did recently have a pretty damn good reveal of games. Point is, though, you can really see just how entrenched on console a lot of that Bethesda audience is, even though when you think of Skyrim, you think of PC mods.
That's absolutely not true. The Starfield player base is not entrenched anywhere. The thing about Starfield on Xbox is it was day one on Game Pass. That's it.
So 925k on Xbox, 560k on PC, basically 1.5 million downloads for that one quest. And
yeah, again, how does this even make sense? How can you have less views than plays? I have never seen this before, but it's extremely strange. What does view mean? What does plays mean? Is that like they click the video and how? I don't understand this. I really don't. What's the difference between view and play?
And remember, that's at $7 worth of credits each time. So that is a lot of cash for Bethesda, even if you allow for the fact that all Deluxe Edition holders got a free 1,000 credits. Now, of course, many of those Deluxe Edition people...
Ah, that's actually a big thing. That is a big thing.
Will, I think, be on Game Pass, right? Because they'll have been in Game Pass, and then they will have done the premium upgrade to have it on Game Pass, but still be able to play it early. But still, if you're just doing the raw numbers based on like how much those credits are worth, that's 1.5 million downloads at $7 of value a pop for...
Yeah, 10.5.
Or 10.5 million USD from this one thing. And that is a Bethesda quest, so there's no rev share with a creator needed. That is absolutely a goddamn money printer.
Okay, Billiard, you do understand you just explained to us, not even 10 seconds ago, that people were granted that 10 credit store things, and they most likely haven't spent it because the majority are not going to spend it on anything because there was no creation club at that point. You understand that means that most people on Xbox probably did not actually buy the credits. That's first. Second of all, again, I don't understand the statistics that he showed.
Right? So if you're seeing...
So super big press X to doubt, in my opinion, from this.
Numbers like that, I mean, man... this is an amazing gravy train, but let's keep on going. So, do you remember this? It's from Pirate Software. Basically, he worked on StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty, and he talked about money, right? And what he basically said is that the $15, what people call the Sparkle Pony, the $15 Sparkle Pony in World of Warcraft, which was WoW's first ever, like, paid store mount, that made more money than StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. Now,
yeah, makes perfect sense. I would honestly not doubt that even. Okay.
Thing is, we don't really know what...
That would, by the way, be my presumption, that it probably made more than most of these things, by the way, in the cash shop, have made over the years more money than StarCraft.
Reporting period he's talking about. We don't know if he's talking revenue or profit, but if we were to say profit, that would make a lot of sense. So StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty sold 3 million copies by the end of its first month. It had 1 million sold through by day one. Of course, a lot of those would have been retail. Of course, by virtue of being over a decade ago, the sales mix there would have skewed more towards retail than that it sort of would have today. Of course, StarCraft 2 is in development for a long ass time, and it's that versus a $15 horse. Now, what do you think is more expensive, making StarCraft 2 or a $15 horse for World of Warcraft? Even though Wings of Liberty was like, what, $60 at launch, or maybe $50, I forget exactly. Even though it was that, the $15 from the horse, that's basically of pure profit with an amazing margin, because of course you're not dealing with retail splits or anything.
Yeah, that's why they make those skins a lot. Yes, Billy, thank you. We are all smart enough here to understand this. That Blizzard did not have to spend billions in development for a score skin. Thank you.
Anything like that. So if you're wondering why the industry is the way that it is right now, it's because, yes, that horse made more money than flipping StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, at least in whatever period it seems that he was talking about. And I know for a lot of people those numbers seem to be insane, but honestly, if you've got a decently sharp reporting period clustered around the...
No, the moment you remember, and every one of us watching this understands it and knows this, maybe you have forgot about the fact that, well, World of Warcraft has like roughly at least a 5 million player base on average, especially, and it was probably more at the time of the Celestial Steed. And now a long time has passed, and you know, the Celestial Steed was the first one. It was super popular. So if you assume even just 500k bought this thing for 15, that is still more than StarCraft. We can kind of easily assume. And yes, there is difference between revenue and just basic sales, and well, revenue definitely. How much StarCraft cost? $40, 50? I don't remember how much it costed, but you get the point. All of us understand this when we stop for a second, think about it, about the information that we actually know.
The initial launch of Wings of Liberty, and you're talking about profit, I could actually see that basically being the case. Let's move back to Starfield though. So one thing that matters a lot here is ease of access. Creation Club means you can just fire up a menu and download mods. It's extremely easy. Now that can be compared to the Nexus, where there are 7,500 mods with 45 million total downloads on that platform for Starfield overall. But of course, that is from launch to date. So that's had months and months and months to rack up. Now, if you put mods in a menu on your Xbox, it's a hell of a lot easier. And while it is tempered by some things, of course, being for credits, the numbers are still real impressive given that this has been out for barely any time.
I wonder what are the actual numbers per user download, because people who are on Nexus, there are some situations where people download a single mod, but most people who download mods download it. I don't know. I would like to say the average person for Nexus statistics is most likely something between 5 and 10 mods. That they download an average of 5 to 10 mods per game. If not more, honestly.
The free Starborn Gravis suit from Bethesda has got 1.2 million plays in PC and 2 million on console. That is a hell of a lot. It's also the most popular available mod on the platform. Now, for one that does have money involved, there's a 500 credit mining sim mod that I mentioned previously, where basically it just gives you like a mining gameplay loop that you can do. It's
well, to be honest, actually, if you have 10k players per day, tops, it could actually average out that you could potentially have like 1 million players per, month or something like that. Definitely not even close to the 20 million that Starfield is touting, because that's the number that they are actually touting. They're saying, oh my god, Starfield's played by 20 million, 20 plus million people per month. Yeah. I definitely believe that. I definitely do not believe that.
It's got 150k plays in PC, 230k plays on...
Oh, and if you missed the previous video, the reason I do not believe that at all is because World of Warcraft has, I don't know how many, but they have more than that. They have more than that, and their average player numbers are way, way higher than Starfield's. Obviously, it's absolutely not even close. But their total numbers, I don't remember the exact one, are not 20 or 30 times more than Starfield's. So these numbers just don't match up at all.
Console. Now, that is obviously a way smaller number, but if you add those together, you still have got a lot, right? Like 370,000 plays at, what, $5 a pop? Now, yes, there will be a rev share with that creator, but that is insane. Like, that is amazing. I mean, compare that to like the economics of so many indie games, and this one thing on a menu in this one game will be trouncing so many indies. I mean, really, if you think about this, in the same way that Steam is a platform on PC, people publish on Steam, and then, of course, Gabe and Co. get 30% and just get to eat that up. Well, this is exactly what they're doing in Starfield, just that it's probably not a 70-30 split. I've got to imagine it is way more leaning towards Bethesda, which, of course, is fair because this is, a platform on their own game. Mostly it'll be using assets that they've already created. So I do.
Yeah, but there's just asking to get sued in the UK for some kind of BS at this point.
Understand that. Still, though, you can see how this is an amazing...
Every big company at this point in the past couple of years has been sued in the UK for some kind of unfair practices or whatever. Jesus.
Business to be in. So if you can't be Steam, what you can do is launch your own game and have your own miniature version of Steam, but for mods inside your game. And one thing about that revenue share, now I know there was a drama about this like 6 years ago where it had seemed that what Bethesda were doing was just paying people like on a milestone basis, but them taking a 100% revenue share, which would basically just be them almost hiring somebody in the community as a developer to make a bit of content. If you actually look in the Starfield Creation Club site, you can actually see right now that it is a revenue share, but of course it is one that is not publicly disclosed. It could be that there are different deals for different people. We literally just don't know unless people break NDAs, which they probably won't want to because, well, as you can see, this thing does actually generate money. Now, of course, it's not just mods that are like little things to wear or a quest or a little in-game system. It's sometimes also people fixing up a game. As an example, the free and officially verified unofficial Starfield patch mod that is on the Creation Club that basically fixes a whole bunch of problems in the game. Well, that's got 1.1 million downloads in PC and 350k.
Okay, so these are downloads. It's just artistically called play for some reason, okay? But what is views in that case? How can views be less than downloads? Do people just click download on accident? Is that what's happening here? This confuses me so much, and I need an explanation. Because I can't figure out the reason how something has less views than downloads. You'd think it would be the other way around.
On console. Kind of funny that it's less in console, but anyway, it is what it is. You can see that that's really popular. You can compare it, though, to other ones that are basically doing things like unlimited resources, ammo, healing, digipacks, and credits. That one has got 106k in PC, 1.2 million in console, which I think very much means console players, well, they don't have a command line to give themselves things in the game, so they've got to rely on mods. Now, both of those are, of course, being handily beaten by a single free spacesuit. What we've learned is that in a small number of days, the play counts are actually humongous for that content, even for the $7 quest that is probably generated over 10.5 million US dollars in revenue, with, of course, the slight caveat that some of those credits will have been from people who had the premium edition of the game. Those numbers also confirm for us another thing, and that is that a lot of people are playing Starfield right now. So Howard said that lifetime Starfield has had 14 million players, and the average player time...
No, wait, previously we had news that it was 20, and it was from a more reliable Starfield, I think it was from Matty Place, something 20 million. Where is he getting 14? 14 was old, I think. That was at the start. They had the tweets that said that 14 was at the start even. That it went past that.
Is 40 hours. Now, I think I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 hours is what I put into Starfield, so there's certainly a lot.
I put in roughly 4.
Is 40 hours. Now, Starfield right now. So Howard said that lifetime Starfield has had 14 million players, and the average player time is 40 hours. Now, I think I probably...
Yeah, that sounds like bull. Again, I'm not trusting a single one of these stats. We're literally talking about a game that should have roughly 50 to 100k players with crazy stats like this. Either the 10k are completely batshit crazy insane and are currently playing the game, which is actually pretty likely, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I am not trusting anything. Everything here seems so off to me.
I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 hours is what I put into Starfield, so there's certainly a lot of people who are maybe at 400 hours who are very much dragging that average up. Point is, though, it is a Bethesda RPG. There is a core formula there that does lead to pretty damn,
the problem with Starfield is that the core formula is not even there.
High hour counts from players. Obviously, though, it's just not a game that for me was anywhere near as sticky as their prior works. Now, even if he does understand that this is a game that doesn't gel with any player, at the very least, it does have a player base, and that player base is producing numbers. As an example, what's wild is that 15 months after the launch of Fallout 4, it had already beaten Skyrim life to date at that point in time. Now, these numbers might be weird to some of us who, of course, are more exposed to negative news about Starfield, or, we broadly just have the opinion that Starfield really did not live up to hype or to player expectations. Thing is, though, there's a lot of people who...
Well, yeah, it didn't. That's the thing. It didn't on a massive scale. So all of this seems completely goddamn off. And strange. Because... what he is saying is actually relatively good statistics. Pretty good, in fact. Relatively good, definitely, at the bare minimum. But how is no one praising Starfield in that case? Why is the whole conversation around Starfield constantly negative? These things don't happen. If everyone's laughing about Hollywood for them trying to praise shit, or vice versa. So how is Starfield the only exception to the rule that you cannot govern the opinions of people online that well? They try, sure, yeah, but it never works out. And and you effectively what he's saying here is that Starfield is this absolute actual gem that everyone secretly likes, but not at any moment there have been any positive news about this. It just doesn't track. This would be literally a world first.
Who play video games. This is something that always comes up whenever I talk about Ubisoft.
World of Warcraft had 4 disastrous expansions in a row, or 3, I don't remember how many. And then Dragonflight came, and it was good. And no one... And, you know, some people had some minor issues with it, but the general conversation about Dragonflight instantaneously was like, yeah, this is actually not bad. Yeah, this is pretty decent. Yeah, I like everything that they're doing, kind of. Even a reputation of 4 complete shit expansions in a row did not stop people from talking good about something when something became decent. Again, this does not track with reality in the goddamn slightest.
We did an Ubisoft video recently, right, talking about some of their games, and, you know, I could even see it in the like-to-dislike ratio on that video. A lot of people are just like, no, Ubisoft, that open-world slop trash, and they absolutely have been that at the past, and who knows, they may continue to be that in the future. But what we do know from those Assassin's Creed game sales is that even if Ubisoft do not have, like, big, broad respect from enthusiast audiences, they still do sell loads of games, and loads of people do play those games. So I think Starfield is...
Yeah, we know this. Yeah, but again, there are ways that we confirm this to be true, because there is positive or neutral content around Assassin's Creed when it comes out and whatnot, but there is nothing about Starfield. Again, for everything else, we have tangible real-life evidence to support that something is actually doing good now. It has a large player base and whatnot. But with Starfield, we just have these magic, hard-to-believe numbers.
Was able to tap into that. Going back to things though, at launch, Fallout 4 had sold 12 million copies and Skyrim trended to 20 million after 26 months. So probably Starfield is not going to be getting numbers like Fallout 4. And of course we do know that Game Pass really does skew things. I mean, I play this game in Game Pass. I did not buy the game. Now, I did buy the premium upgrade thing because I wanted to get in there to provide coverage for you guys, but basically, you can see the point. Game Pass does kind of muddle this stuff up. I think
Game Pass muddles this stuff a lot because, again, there's not a lot of games you can play on Xbox, so hey, Starfield, their day one release, that definitely helps their numbers, but again,
if this game was not on Game Pass, you probably would have had far less strong numbers here. But of course, well, look at Fallout 76.
Stop hitting the microphone, Billiard.
76 has actually got pretty damn healthy player counts. And that goes to show that when you remove those barriers to entry, even if a game is not absolutely setting the world on fire...
We watched this. The new expansion literally didn't last 3 days when there was a huge dip already.
There are audiences who will just show up to play it if it's basically from a dev that they know and trust, or is in a franchise that they know. I mean, hell, as an example, we do know that Starfield was the only single-player game to be in the top 10 player counts last year, and it was the only game from a franchise or IP that was less than 7 years old, which certainly does speak volumes about the industry and the struggles that, like, new games and new IP have actually got breaking in there. Zooming out big picture, though, if you have got 14 million players for a single-player game 6 months after launch, considering that it is an original IP, you had a whole bunch of backlash, and you also...
Yeah, that's, again, that's, first of all, when they say 14K players, they actually mean downloads and whatnot. That is the first thing that they in reality mean by that. Not that it's 14K players in general. Again, it's not that.
also did not launch on the largest console platform. Well,
Anyway, this is super confusing me. I do not trust a single thing he has honestly said here. Nothing in real life is showing that Starfield is doing well. We just have these Xbox numbers from a company that's kind of desperate to actually grab the audience because they're really afraid to be completely outdone by PlayStation. That's it. I don't trust any of this. There's always a way to fudge the numbers. I have no idea. Again, someone needs to explain to me how these mods, where is it? Here. How can this have only 200k views, but somehow magically you're telling me 600k downloads? How? I'm completely lost. I don't understand how these numbers are made up. Is the plays multiple downloads? Because maybe then it actually makes sense because people need to download it probably 10 times in a row. Because, well, it's not still fixed, but there has been a lot of problems with, you know, even the official mod stores where it breaks mods and then you need to constantly re-download them, delete them, and things like that. Nothing here seems legit in my mind. Absolutely nothing. Well, anyway, I guess that's it. That was Bel Air. This was Kuzer Said saying bye-bye.